In today's theory video, I'll be going over the unused characters that are in TADC. There might be more characters than those I state in this video, so if I've missed someone, point it out in the comments. And I also want to say a huge thanks to Phil Bows, or Phil Bowies, sorry for butchering your name, who suggested this idea in my past video. So thank you, Phil, and let's get into the theory. There are quite a bit of unused characters in TADC, but we have mostly seen all of them in the dorm room hall when Pomni, Jax, and Ragatha were walking towards Kaufmo's dorm room. Let's get into the first two characters that we see crossed out. We got the pink Cyclops, which is called Pinky, and then we got a clown who seems to have a polka dot covered body. Let's get into Pinky first. I think that Pinky is actually a male, but something that I can't quite figure out is who Pinky's replacement could be. Because if we look at most of the unused / abstracted characters, we can see a slight resemblance to the current circus members. But that is something I will get later into. Pinky first. He's a Cyclops and he's pink. But in regard to his character, I don't necessarily think that a replacement has been found yet. Because Pomni is a clown, Ragatha is a doll, Jax is an animal, Gangle is just Gangle, she's made out of ribbon, Kinger is a chest piece, and Subul is a combination of all of them, which is actually really interesting, but I will make a theory on that later. So, Pinky's importance was probably low since his replacement hasn't arrived yet, or might actually never arrive. So let's get into the next one, who is the clown with the polka dot body. On their wiki site, the clown is called Round Clown. So we don't really have a name for him, which is why I have decided to call him Polky, since his whole body is covered in polka dots. I actually believe Polky to have been an important character, and I got a special reason for this. If you think about it, how many clowns have we seen or heard about in the digital circus? Well, we have Polky, the yellow clown, which I'm going over in a second, a green clown, Kaufmo, and now Pomni. So I think that the clown role has been there for 5 generations, which is a very long time. So with them being in the circus for that long, they must have been a special character with great importance. But other than the role being important, we also know that Pomni is essentially the main character and she's a clown. So something must be going on with the clown role. Now let's go to the next 2 characters. I believe these 2 past members to have been of a great importance as well, and let me get into that. Who do we have? We have a dog and a worm. Let's talk about the dog first and then the worm after. On their wiki site, we again don't get a name but only a yellow dog, so I'll just call him the dog. He looks very friendly and was probably one of the nicer circus members in the past because he smiles, blushes, and just looks very innocent. And I actually think that Jax is the dog's replacement, because think about it, Jax is a rabbit and the dog is a dog. But judging from Jax's personality and the dog's picture, I think that they weren't slightly the same due to Jax being rude and kind of evil, and the dog just looks happy and friendly. Or from this, I theorize that the animal role has been there for 2 generations and is quite important. And onto the worm. Now at first, I actually thought it was a bird of some kind, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized that it was a worm. But funny enough, it says on the wiki site that it is a worm on a string, but you might have seen his kind before, the fuzzy worms that you see online or in a mall. They are literally toy worms, and the past worm member looks identical to the fuzzy worms. But something interesting that we got from the wiki is that they stated to be a toy, so I don't categorize this as an animal but as a toy. And who in the circus right now is a toy? It's Subul. The next one is of course Queenie, who I think nearly everybody thinks that she's connected or affiliated with Kinger. On their wiki site, it says that she's a brown queen chess piece with the name Queenie, and as you might have predicted, I also think that Kinger and Queenie is somehow connected to each other. I believe that Kinger and Queenie got transported into the circus at the same time, or at least very close to each other due to the sole reason of them being chess pieces. Since Kinger is the king piece, he must have been transported to the circus first, and Queenie is the queen piece, so presumably gotten there after. I actually believe them to have had a really good relationship, but something must have happened, which we might never get an answer to, but at least we can hope for the best, and Gooseworks might give us an answer on that later. After Queenie, we got a glimpse of the yellow clown, which doesn't have a name other than the yellow clown. Nothing on their wiki sites besides the yellow clown, but I did theorize that the clown role must have been very important since the circus have been having clowns for over 5 generations, which is a very long time. So I guess that he could have been a main character just like Pomni, but we don't really have that much information about him. But one thing is that he has a sad face, which builds on my theory that every time a new character takes on the role of the past one, they are opposites, just like Jax and the yellow dog. Even though I could be wrong, the picture says the opposite. After the yellow clown, we got a little look at the next one, which is the sock puppet. From what I see, it's literally a sock with ears, and this is quite random, but I actually got socks with ears that are actually magnets, and they cling to another pair of socks which my girlfriend has. But back to the sock puppet. Now I'm quite unsure of this, but I think the sock puppet and Ragatha might have had the same role, because Ragatha is a doll and the sock puppet is a literal sock. So somehow I actually believe that they have the same role. Now we got the next interesting character, because the next one is a literal dragon. On their wiki site, it's described as a purple dinosaur with multicolored spikes. We know that a dinosaur is an animal, so forget what I said about the animal role being there for 2 generations, because this dragon is the 3rd animal that we see. So they have been in the circus for 3 generations. But this picture actually debunks my theory about the next one taking the specific role being opposites. After the dragon, we got a slight look at the blue cartoonish wizard. At first, I low-key couldn't see it was a wizard, but if we take a look at the wiki site, it says what appears to be a blue cartoon wizard, and a wizard is quite different from what we have had, because which category or role would that belong in? I believe that the cartoon wizard could be the predecessor to Gangle. I mean, Gangle is made out of ribbon and the blue wizard is a wizard. See where I'm going with this? Well, it's kind of magical that Gangle's body is functioning with only being made out of ribbon. And now the second last character is the green clown that I mentioned before. It says on the wiki site, appears to be a green clown with orange hair. So once again, we got another clown, and they have pretty much been here for 5 generations. So there isn't really much to talk about, since we know that the clown role is presumably the most important role in TADC. At last, we have the last character, who is actually related to Kane. And if you have watched theories on TADC, you definitely know this guy. His name is Pain. So they switched the C in Kane with a P to Pain. And what does their wiki site state? It says, a dubious character who is likely not canon, that is stated to be related to Kane, and he lacks all head features except for a large nose and a large pair of ears. But even though that it says it's not canon, I believe that Pain could be a new character that will show up sooner or later in TADC, because it literally said likely not canon, which doesn't mean that it's not impossible for Pain not showing up. So other than Kane being the runner of the circus, I believe that we might see Pain later in TADC, and hopefully he might bring something new to the table that Kane doesn't. But those were all the unused characters that I could find. Let me know down below what you think about my theory, comment your own theory, or if you want me to cover something in TADC. Thanks for watching, subscribe and click on this video here.